Hello, it is me again. Welcome back to the vlog. Zippy, come here. Come here, Zip. Sit. Oh, that's a good girl. I have Zippy laying down next to me now. It seems to be a better place for both her and I and you. But yes, hi everyone. My name is Kaylee. I'm a fiber artist in North Carolina, and I am so happy that you're here. It has been a couple weeks since I have filmed, and that hasn't been intentional. It's just been this season of life. Also, the lighting is probably going to change because I'm sitting in front of a window. It is that time of the day where there's a lot of cloud cover at the moment, so if it goes in and out, please just bear with me. It looks okay now. I might change this. Oops, wrong way. That might be a little better. Just bear with me as the lighting may adjust throughout this clip or this segment, but I'm at the mercy of the sun god at this time. Anyway, yeah, it's been a few weeks since I've filmed. It's been, honestly, I think like 2 weeks since I've filmed anything. Nothing crazy has happened. It's just like changing of seasons and getting back in the swing of things. It also hasn't been a super eventful last couple weeks, so you haven't missed out on much, honestly. It's been pretty chill over here. We are just settling into the fall season. It is officially fall, and I can tell because we have leaves on the ground. My allergies are awful right now. I probably sound a little nasally, but the weather is cooling down. It's wonderful to be outside, and I honestly have no complaints about very much of anything right now, which is great. So life has been very peaceful. I am just really happy to be back and excited to make another art vlog for you guys. The last vlog was very well received. I am happy about that because it's definitely the swing of motion I would like to continue in for making content and making vlogs. Hold on, let me adjust. All right, that seems to be a little better. Definitely the swing of motion I want to take this channel in. Oh my goodness. Allergies, sorry. Again, it is the swing of motion I want to take this channel in, so that made me really excited to do just more like lifestyle, casual, pick up my camera type vlogs. All right, I appreciate your patience as I adjust this. It's nuts. I'm trying to remember where I was last time, and I believe I was working on my purple quilt top. I was gonna work on it and hopefully get to a stopping point before my end of September class had started. I don't really know what I thought the calendar looked like for September, but during that week was actually the week that my class started. So I did not work anymore on that quilt top that you'd previously had seen, and I have now since started on the quilt top for that class. I have now started on the quilt top for that quilting class that I'm taking for this fall season. So the quilt that I'm working on now has a lot to do with the home because we're back into our home after like a pretty traumatic summer. And I believe I mentioned it in the last vlog, but this quilting class is all about manifesting and spellcasting and using quilting and sewing and stitching as a way of practicing magic, which I already do. I am a self-titled stitch witch, so this class was right up my alley. I'm super excited to be a part of it. And with keeping these themes in mind, this next quilt is going to be about the home, nesting back into the home, protecting the home. That's kind of the overarching theme, but I also want to include a lot of what's going on in my daily life now and what's happening, just the mundane day-to-day things in addition to this overarching theme of protection. I am really happy with where it's at the moment. I pieced together my quilt base a couple weeks ago, and I've since started appliquing on top. And yeah, I'm really happy with how it's looking so far. I love the color palette. I love the neutrals and the periwinkle and the little pops of pink and purple. I'm very much in tune with the color story that's happening for this quilt, and I cannot wait to see where it goes further, especially throughout this vlog. So again, this vlog is going to be more sewing, working on my quilt, and then also just showing tidbits of the daily life. I think this might just be a week-long vlog instead of 2 weeks, which I've been doing previously. But yeah, I think that's all that's really happening. The only other thing too that I feel like may be helpful to update on is another reason that things have been a little slow around here the last 2 weeks is because I've actually been experiencing some hand pain in my right hand. I suspect that I do have some carpal tunnel going on in this hand. That is my suspicion. When I'm hand sewing, I am fiddling and doing really detailed movements with my hand. Really just comes with the territory for a lot of hand sewers and quilters too. So a lot of delicate movements with the hand, and I've been experiencing some discomfort there, and I definitely wanted to give it a rest. So last week I did a lot of resting. I have been doing hand yoga every day and hand massage with a gua sha tool schedule. I've been following 2 videos in particular, like religiously every day, and my symptoms have since improved a lot. So I'll go ahead and include those in the description just in case you want to up your hand health game. I have come to learn that that is super important. I knew it was important before, but it never like personally affected me, so I didn't really take it as a priority, but now I definitely am and will continue to do so. The hand was on a little bit of a break, but I did quite a bit of sewing yesterday and she still feels fine today. Like, thank goodness. It's been a little bit of touch and go with sewing and seeing how my hand feels and then giving it a rest and then trying again and seeing how it feels after that. But yeah, I think that's all I have to update on. I'm gonna go ahead and finish my cup of tea. This is the 3rd cup of tea I've had today. I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and then I will probably sew in a little bit. See you then, I guess. So yeah, thanks for being here. I appreciate it. Bye. What are we doing?
Making veggie soup because it's fall and you have allergies.
First homemade soup of the season. Thank you, baby. Logic. Logic. Do you want some veggie soup? Little armbands on Zippy and she's not thrilled, unfortunately. But she looks so cute. Zippy, you want your toy? Come get it. Zippy. I need to heat up some more water. Hello everybody. It has been several days since I've filmed. Are we surprised? I don't even know. The only explanation I have for my absence this week has been life is really busy. Zippy had an extra class that we didn't account for this week. Work has been really busy and the state of the world is increasingly overwhelming to be in, whether it is politically what's going on in the world, pop culturally what's going on in the world. Everything just feels like an overwhelming echo chamber. Constant all the time. I'm sure you can relate if you're in the US, outside of the US, just anywhere in the world. It seems like it's all on fire at the moment. I apologize for my absence, but I am back. It is the end of the week and I'm feeling a little bit better as far as the allergies are concerned. You can probably hear a little bit of nasal going on. It's still hanging around in my face. And now Emily, unfortunately, is under the weather with the same ailment. She is down for the count and she never gets sick. I'm currently in my housewife era of this season. So I've been taking care of her, taking care of the house as well, on top of everything else, which is fine. It's not a big deal. But it's just, I've been a little busy. I've been spread a little thin this week. I have gotten some sewing done, as you saw earlier this week, and some of the evenings that I was able to get some sewing in, I did. Not much progress has been made on the new quilt top, but I thought it'd be kind of fun to go ahead and explain what was going on in the quilt, like the imagery, what's going on with that, and my thought process behind what I'm putting on this quilt top. I'm always interested in the little nuances and things that people come up with when they are sewing or making art of their own. So I thought maybe we could take some time and go over what's happening on my quilt top at the moment. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. I need a little tea break before we start because I am so sleepy. So here is the quilt top at the moment. I am literally just kneeling on my floor and it's a very overcast day. So viewing may be a little bit difficult and I apologize for that. I am just like working with my circumstances and this is the best I got right now. It has been overcast for majority of the week. Or this is what we're working with now. And I think the easiest thing will be to just discuss different elements of the quilt while I do some B-roll shots for it so you can get a better look at things. So of course, to have a quilt top to work on, you first need to have a background fabric to sew with. And if you recall the last quilt we were working on, the purple one, it was a solid sheet of linen. This one, I took a little bit of a different approach because I started this quilt when I was trying to rest my hand. So I thought I'm just gonna piece something together really fast using my sewing machine over here. You can see I have a couple different fabric. I have that flax linen cotton blend is the majority of my background fabric, but you can see I made a checkerboard using using some of that flax fabric and then also using some of the linen periwinkle. It was one of the newer fabrics that I had picked up. We looked them over in the last vlog. And then below it, I pieced another really pretty indigo Japanese inspired linen cotton blend as well. I'm really loving these thicker but still really soft linen cotton blends. I've just never really sought after them until very recently, and they just feel so high quality. They feel really sturdy, but they're still soft and so malleable, and I love the way they just like catch the light when they move and crinkle. I kind of wanted to do something that was loosely representative of rising water, as that is what this whole quilt was first inspired from, like this event that happened in our lives. I just wanted to have some kind of moment on the quilt that kind of stood for what I was making this for. And I think it's a great place to start and move on from, metaphorically speaking, like moving on from. That is the composition of the background piece. And after I assembled the background fabric, I knew that I first initially wanted to add a piece to the quilt that represented protection of the house or going to higher ground, safekeeping, out of harm's way, that kind of energy. And I wanted to approach it in a whimsical and kind of lighthearted way. I thought it would be kind of fun to do a house on top of a ladder on top of a range of mountains. So I started with the pink mountains. I appliqued them down and embroidered on top of them. I constructed this little ladder out of fabric and piece by piece put it together. You saw in the last clip where I embroidered this little house on fabric and then appliqued it down to the background as a way to kind of give it a little bit more texture, make it stand out from the fabric. And then also I had previously embroidered in that same spot on the actual background fabric itself. I didn't like the first house that I did. I'll put a picture of it here. It just wasn't like giving me what I wanted. And so I ripped it all out so the fabric has a little bit of texture behind it. Patch was partly for aesthetic purposes, but also to cover up something previous that I had done that I did not necessarily care for. And the last bit that I'd like to discuss here is my hand that is embroidered onto the lower right part of the quilt. This was literally traced onto the quilt back. I stitched it on and then I filled it in with sprinkle stitches. I believe they're also called seed stitches, but I always just have called them sprinkle stitches. I think sprinkle is just a little bit cuter than a seed. But as you can see, I have mostly lavender sprinkles in here, but if you look really closely, you can see these really nice pale blue sprinkles in my lower thumb / palm area of my hand. And this is a spell for my hand. And when it was sore and tender and uncomfortable, I wanted to put a spell in there on this quilt top just to like heal my hand. This is the first time I've dealt with prolonged discomfort in any muscle or tendon or anything in my body, really. And it does make me more aware of it because it is my hands and I use my hands for a lot of sewing, art making, etc., etc. So I wanted to make sure that that was a feature part of this quilt, but I wanted it to be subtle because I feel like some of the most powerful magic lives in our subconscious. And if I can just put a spell on this quilt that isn't so stand out but is still very much there, I really wanted to see if I could achieve that. And the blue area of the stitching, like I mentioned before, this is where the pain in my hand mostly resided in, and so I wanted to introduce cooling, healing energy into that area, so that's why I used blue thread, and that was the choice there. And once I finished embroidering this, I made a second connection that I didn't anticipate or plan for. This hand is actually reaching through the water towards the surface, and so I think that's an interesting double meaning that, like I said, I didn't initially plan for, and I'll have to ponder what that means to me as I further work on this quilt. I just think it was a fun little surprise that revealed itself to me. That's what I've worked on so far. I hope this was helpful to anyone who may be making these like sort of art quilts on their own time, or just an insight into my process, if anything, and what I'm thinking about as I'm sewing this. I am really excited with how this is turning out so far. I think it's very sophisticated and elevated, but also whimsical and intentional. And I just want to have a lot of fun on this quilt top as it does explore a very dark time in my life, which was last summer. But it's also about the present and it's about moving forward, just everything encumbered into that experience. So it's not all doom and gloom, but I want to look at it and feel positive about it and not like heavy about it, if that makes sense. That is what I'll be working on this weekend. Tonight, I'm going to be making some soup. It's going to be our second homemade soup of the week because we had homemade veggie soup earlier this week, if you remember that. But we purchased a butternut squash earlier this week and we need to use it up. And I am the only one that knows how to make this butternut squash soup. So you're going to get some really rare footage of me actually in the kitchen, which honestly never happens. So don't get used to it. But this is a really yummy butternut squash ginger turmeric soup, so I think it'll be really great for Emily to have while she's feeling under the weather. This veggie soup definitely brought me back to life that she made earlier this week, so I can only return the favor. It's only fair. But I'm gonna be making that in a couple hours, and then I think we're just gonna have a restful evening and carry on with the weekend. Feels good to sit down and talk to you guys. I felt so discombobulated all week this week, just trying to stay above water, like no pun intended there, but it's just been one of those times, and I'm looking forward to getting some editing done this weekend, getting this vlog up, and getting back into the swing of things. But yeah, so I'm just gonna go for now, and I will touch base in a couple hours when we are back in my kitchen and we are making some yummy homemade butternut squash soup. I'll see you then. Don't ask us how we ended up here. I told the vlog, like last clip, that I was making you soup tonight. Handmade squash soup, but now we are at a Mexican restaurant. That's just how things worked out. And
so she said that she did the girl math.
Hey everyone, good morning. It is I haven't spoken this morning if you can't tell. I'm a little raspy, but good morning. It is currently around 9:31 on the dot, and I woke up really early this morning and I wanted to get a lot of things done today, so I went ahead and got ready. All my morning chores are done. I am just enjoying my time. I am doing some sewing this morning. It's actually upside down with some really fun fabric. On my quilt top, I'll actually take the hoop out because I'm gonna move it for a second. Yeah, just doing some little sewing. I've just been sitting here for a little bit doing that, and I just wanted to check in before I got really started with my day. I don't have a lot planned, but I want to get quite a bit done, if that makes sense. So I want to focus a lot on hand sewing today. I need to make that squash soup that I did not make last night since Emily decided she wanted Mexican food to clear her allergies. I'm not gonna argue with her. Dinner was great, so no complaints there, but it did throw a little wrench in my schedule, so I'm gonna do that today. And then I need to edit the video that you're watching right now, because my plan is to put this video out tomorrow, but I've barely started the editing. So I'm gonna focus a lot on editing today, in addition to sewing, in addition to making soup. And then as a little side quest this morning, I wanted to go thrifting, because I have not been thrifting for a couple of months, and I just wanted to poke around a thrift store that I like to go to and see what was new. They have a really cute little craft and fabric section in the back of the store, so I thought I would take you along with me as a little side quest and then just proceed with the rest of the day. They open at 10, so I'm gonna just finish what I'm doing here, get myself ready to go, head out, come back here, and proceed with the rest of the day. But like I said, I just wanted to check in before I went ahead and did that. It is incredibly overcast and gloomy outside. It probably looks like it's dark out with the way that the studio is lit up at the moment. There's like no natural light in here whatsoever, but it's a perfect like rainy day to just do fun things, do cozy things, and also get some things done. But yeah, that is all I had to say for this little segment. I just wanted to say good morning, and I will see you at the thrift store. So let's go ahead and get going. me again a few hours later. I am back from my little thrifting adventure, and Emily and I also went and ran some errands to get Eunice food, Zippy some new toys / treats to keep her busy with the rainy weekend. And we actually went to Boot Barn too, because I'm gonna get some cowgirl boots and I needed to try some on to see what my ideal size would be. That is what I did this afternoon. I also have been editing. Thankfully, I'm like halfway through. I'm definitely getting a little bit speedier with this style of editing, with this style of vlog. It definitely helps me be more concise and to the point, and I'm able to just like move through footage faster this way. All around, pretty productive day, pretty productive afternoon. I did have fun thrifting. I just wanted to show you what I picked up. I did pick up some fabric and textile related items, but I also picked up a couple fun things too. Let's not waste any more time. Let's get into it. So as you saw in my initial descent through the thrift store, I usually stop at the bedding and linens section of the store first to go through pillowcases, sheets, cloth napkins, tablecloths, all those kinds of fun things. And I definitely found the most stuff there today. I did fill up my cart pretty full, but then I went back and went through it and whittled everything down to what I thought I would actually use, because I'm trying to be more picky about what I bring in to my studio. I used to just like get my hands on anything that I could find, and now I'm definitely knowing what I like to work with. I know what colors I like to work with, so I'm trying to be more selective and not just like consume, even though it is secondhand. So we're a little bit more particular these days. First thing you probably saw me go for were the pillowcases, and that's where I found most of my pieces today. So these are just 3 pillowcases. I love a pink, I love a blue, and this is just a fun kind of neutral gingham. It's very pale gingham, and I think these pillowcases are 100% cotton. This one I don't think is. I think this is definitely like a polyester. I know this is not cotton, but I did enjoy the color, so I thought it would be worth it to grab it anyway. All right, next I looked over in the tablecloths and the cloth napkins. That area can be kind of hit or miss sometimes, but today I actually hit really well, and I did not hit for me. This is a hit for a good friend of mine. These are cloth napkins, and I got 12 of them. They're 100% cotton, you can just tell. They have this beautiful colorway and this like texture weave on top. So when I saw these, I immediately thought of my friend Barbara. She's in the quilty group that I go to on Sundays, and this is just like her color palette if I've ever seen it. So I thought that she could use these. I haven't told her that I got them for her, but I'll go ahead and text her after I'm done filming this, just to let her know that I have a surprise for her the next time that I see her. Like whether she wants to use them for a sewing project or she just wants to have these in her house, I'm happy to pick these up for her. It's a lot of fabric. Like honestly, you could make a quilt just out of this, like a whole quilt top just out of these pieced together, and I think that would be gorgeous. So yeah, I hope she enjoys these, and I'm excited to give them to her. And then last textile fabric item is actually a men's shirt. Found this guy, and I really am enjoying the blues right now, and so I wanted a blue with a little bit of texture. This is 100% cotton. It's really soft. It's kind of like a blue and white weave. Not quite gingham, not flannel, as you can see. So I honestly might put it in the quilt that I'm working on now, because it would kind of like is very on theme for that. I'm really drawn to solids when I'm thrifting, but I need to pay more attention to the patterns and the textures too, and I know that about myself. So this was a fun find, and I never go in the men's shirt sections, and now I will continue to do so because it was a fruitful endeavor. And now we're moving on from textiles. So this is the last couple of things that I found. This thrift store in particular has such a great homeware section, whether it's dishes, decor, baskets, wreaths, anything really that you can think of to put in the home, they have it, and they have such an extensive collection. It's very curated, not like curated in the consignment way, but curated in they know what's nice and what's good, and they tend to put that up towards the front, so it makes it easy for people like me who are just trying to work through the store and not dig through the store. So I went through that area really quickly before I left. And the first thing I found was this beautiful vase. It is a shell vase with some Japanese art painted on it, and it is also from Japan. You can see what I paid. I paid $10 for this, and that's actually probably the most I would spend for something like this, but I love this kind of artwork. We have other Japanese inspired artwork or authentic Japanese art decor items or on ceramic like this, but I love the peonies on it. I love the sparrows, the birds, the butterfly. It's just a gorgeous piece, and I thought it would look really great with some baby's breath in it, just on a shelf, maybe on my bookshelf even. I don't really know where she's gonna live, but I fell in love with this piece and I knew I wanted to bring it into our home, so that's the first thing I found. And this was probably my favorite find of the day, and I'm gonna quickly but carefully remove the price stickers off the bottom of these items just so you can see the original tag. But I found these, like I was about to check out and then I saw all of these gorgeous little bottles, and I was like very intrigued by them because they're all different shapes and all different sizes and colors and whatever. I was looking at them and I turned one over to look at the underside, and somebody had donated their entire vintage Avon makeup collection, skincare, perfume, aftershave. There was like all kinds of stuff, but they were all in these like gorgeous little antique bottles or vintage bottles. I'm not really sure if they're antique yet. I was like so mesmerized by them. I love them. And I only wanted to get a couple of them because, I mean, I love beauty, I love makeup, and I love antique or vintage items, but I only wanted to get a couple that spoke to me. And so these are the two that I found. Aren't they so cute? They kind of match, honestly. They're both like a milk glass. You can see the bottom is the glass, ceramic, whatever they are. I think these are glass. But the top is the original plastic, and you can see how it's yellowed over time. But I love this little container, and if you look on the bottom, there you go. So it's like vintage Avon, and then this one in particular was a skin softener. Apply lavishly to heels, heels, knees, elbows, wherever skin is dry and uncomfortable. And your moisturizer was in this little glass jar that looks like a mug of some sort. I don't know. I thought it was so cute. No product. Someone cleaned these out and obviously kept them for safekeeping. And so who knows how old these are. I'm gonna have to do some research. I can't really see anything based on the label about what year they came from, but I just thought these were so cool, and I don't know. It was hard for me not to take them all home, and honestly, there was that one jade fish one that I'm still thinking about. I might have to go back and get it. I don't think they're gonna be open on Monday, but I don't know. I might have to go back. I just thought these were so, so cool. So that is this one. I'm a bird lover, we all know this, and I'm also a perfume girl. So this one I thought was so cool. I'm so happy I found this. I feel very lucky. But this is a little bird, and this is the Partridge Somewhere cologne. How cool is that? That is just so stinking cool. The body is glass, the top is plastic. You just pull it off like this, and you unscrew this guy, and you can see he's leaked a little bit. There's like a little bit of perfume around his neck. The bottle is empty, but you can still smell the fragrance. Like it smells like perfume. It's very powdery, very clean. Honestly, I would wear this today because I have been in search of like a baby powder perfume that isn't too vanilla, too musky, that just is like a little bit of baby powder and something else, and this is like spot on. Maybe I should look for a bottle of this perfume. It probably exists. It's somewhere. I honestly don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I just think that's so cool. So I was really excited about these. I love them. I'm really happy that I found them. Not really sure what I'm gonna do. This one I could see using for like storage of something, maybe like putting needles in here or pins in here, clips in here. I don't know. This one is probably just going to be a shelf item. These were really fun for me, so I just wanted to show you them. But yeah, that is all I have to say for now. This is the end of the vlog. Thank you so much for being here. If you made it this far into the video, I hope you enjoyed it. I actually had a really pleasant time filming for this vlog, and as I'm editing this now, I'm seeing that I got quite a bit of content for a week's worth of footage. And honestly, it was only just a few days. As a cozy week for not really going out much and just kind of being around the studio here and getting some things done, I feel like it was pretty productive. I'm already excited to start the next vlog. And if you're not already, I would love it if you subscribe to my channel. I try to put out new videos every 2 weeks, and they usually consist of things like this, where it's like a studio vlog, me kind of going around doing my own thing, sourcing supplies, sourcing material, making stuff, making all kinds of things. And I have a lot on the to-do list for the end of the year. I really appreciate everybody that stuck around and made it through this vlog. I'm excited to start filming the next one already, and I cannot wait to see you there. So yeah, I will talk to you then. I hope you take care, and I will see you soon. All right, bye guys.